Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Welcome to the Every Girl Podcast. I'm your host, Josie Santee, wellness editor, reality TV enthusiast, and firm believer in the 3-drink rule. Join me every Tuesday as I chat with top experts and your favorite influencers and celebrities. You can also expect hilarious conversations with the Every Girl editors where we open up about life events, trending topics, and of course, the latest pop culture drama. So whether I'm talking with a real housewife, 8-figure founder, or a manifestation coach, you will end each episode feeling inspired, understood, and a part of this empowering community. Listen to the show wherever you get your podcasts and tune in every Tuesday for a new episode.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration Podcast, where we talk about our favorite movies, TV shows, and video games. As usual, I'm your host, Shravan. We have our co-host, Tone, here with us in Hobart.
Hey everyone.
How's the weather today in Hobart?
It was bloody hot.
Yeah, same here. It was 43 degrees here.
43. Yeah, it was a little less hot here, but we had a lot of bushfires. The sky is like a red fog at the moment.
Is it like New Zealand in terms of the sun? How it like really burns your skin, or? Yeah,
it does. I wasn't outside much today, as you can see, rocking the singlet.
Yeah, I was at work most of the day, so I missed. It was weird because it was 43 degrees at 3 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock it was 23 degrees.
Yeah, classic Melbourne.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about Aquaman.
Oh, so this is not the weather podcast, is it?
Oh no, that's
oh shit!
Damn it, we prepared for the wrong one. We're talking about Aquaman, or Aquaman, as Americans
There goes all
call it.
my content that I planned, but okay, we can talk about Aquaman.
Yes, so we watched it on Christmas Day. You might have seen our Instagram live post.
We unwrapped Jason Momoa.
Did we?
No.
I'm starting to doubt myself. I'm like, wait, did we?
When did that happen?
We'll talk about Aquaman, but before that, I guess, or maybe we can talk about it afterwards, but I did also watch Mary Poppins this week. I can give you a quick review of that now, or we can do it after.
Do it now. Get it over and done with.
All right, yeah. I haven't seen the old Mary Poppins for a while. I think I've only seen it once, and I think it was when I was a kid. So I don't really remember it that well. But this one was, I guess, faithful to that one. It is a sequel to the original Mary Poppins. And like, I think the kids in the first one are adults in this one. And it's about, father was one of the kids in the first one. And he has 2 kids, or he has 3 kids in this one. And it's about basically, there is a story. There is an underlying story, but it's about...
Oh, there is a story. That's good to hear.
Well, you'd be surprised.
I thought there wasn't one.
It feels like there isn't much of a story for most of it because they're just doing random stuff. And they're like singing. There's like every time they go to a new place, there's like a song because it's a musical.
Oh, perfect.
But there is an underlying story about how they're in financial hardship and they need to get their house back.
Oh yeah, classic family fun.
Yeah.
Financial hardships and getting thrown onto the streets. It's what kids want to see.
Overall, I thought I think kids will enjoy it. I think it's enjoyable for kids.
Because, kids love, as I said, financial hardship. It's their favorite thing.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, it's not a bad time. If you have kids, they might enjoy it. If you're a fan of the original, you probably will also enjoy it. Emily Blunt was pretty good.
Is Dick Van Dyke in it?
He is in it. He was in the trailers, but he's not really in the movie much. He's hardly in it. There's Lin-Manuel Miranda. I think that's his name.
Yep.
He's basically the Dick Van Dyke character of this movie. But he used to work with Dick Van Dyke before.
Okay.
Yeah, like he was a kid and he used to work with Dick Van Dyke's character.
It sounds shit.
Yeah, I'm not really selling it. It's
Yeah, no, this is no, what was the movie we talked about last week?
Second Act.
Second Act. It's no Second Act. You haven't sold it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's basically just about Mary Poppins doing stuff with the kids and then the kids kind of trying to help their father get out of the situation. And
Yeah.
Mary Poppins is there and she sort of helps them. Like, she makes it seem like she doesn't help them, but she helps them. And there's parts where they like go into this cartoon world as well, like they do in the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because they trip on acid. That's what they don't
Pretty
tell you.
much, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's another like Alice in Wonderland type of movie.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah. But it's better than that. It's better than the Alice in Wonderland, like the Johnny Depp Alice in Wonderlands.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's not a bad movie. It's just probably not made for our age group or our demographic. But people will enjoy it for sure.
People. Yeah.
Yeah. Certain people, yeah. I've really sold that movie.
Yeah, you have. You've sold that. That sounds like the greatest movie of last year.
Did you watch anything this week in particular? Watch or read or see anything movies-wise, TV shows-wise?
I'm watching this TV show called You on Netflix.
You.
You.
Okay. Like the letter U.
No, not the letter U. YOU.
Is it good?
It's okay. I wouldn't say it's spectacular. Like, if you're bored, you can watch it and you would have a decent time with it. It's about this guy that stalks a girl.
Okay.
That's about all I could say without ruining stuff. But yeah, that's the overall story.
I wasn't watching anything, but my wife was watching the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon, and she's really enjoying it. I've seen parts of it, and it looks pretty funny. It's about I think it's like based in the 50s, and it's about this woman that has recently had a divorce, and then she gets into stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I've seen the trailers for it. It looks, I think it's based off a real life story.
And Shazam's in it.
Shazam, yep. Like the actual, not the actor, the actual hero.
Character. Yeah, the character's in it. He just turns up one episode and punches her in the face.
Yeah, exactly. It's a prequel to Shazam.
Yeah.
Or a sequel, depending on what happens in Shazam.
All right, we'll jump into Aquaman now. So as usual, we'll do spoilers, and then we'll do non-spoilers and then spoilers, and
do you want to mix it up and do spoilers first? And
yeah,
then
we'll
do
jump into spoilers
non-spoilers?
first, and then you just got to guess when we go into the non-spoiler review. No, we'll do non-spoilers and then spoilers, and I'll also give you some background on the production and development of the movie. So the movie was released on 21st of December in the US, but we only got it on Boxing Day, the 26th of December in Australia. Internationally, the film was released in China first. So it was released in China on December 7th. And apparently it's done really well in China. And in the UK, it released December 12th. And Argentina, Brazil, Russia, and India got it on December 13 or December 14. So we got it comparatively quite late for some reason. And in the US, it also released the same day as Mary Poppins' Second Act and Bumblebee.
Well, yeah, we talked about that last time. Mary Poppins and Second Act obviously took a big hit out of Bumblebee and Aquaman.
Probably more Bumblebee than this, because this, I'll talk about in a second, but it did all right opening weekend. So it's directed by James Wan, who we know for his horror movies more than anything else. So he's
and
Conjuring.
Fast and Furious 7. Is it 7? 7? 6?
No, the one with Paul Walker's last one, 7. It was 7. Yeah. It's produced by Peter Safran, who's also a producer on the Conjuring franchise films. So he was involved with all of them, including our latest favorite movie in the franchise, The Nun.
The Nun, yeah, really good movie.
And the other producer is Rob Cowan. The screenplay is written by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick. That's his full name. That's a very long name. He was also involved in the Conjuring films, so he works with James Wan. And the co-writer of the screenplay was Will Beale, who was involved with Gangster Squad, which you said wasn't very good.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't like it.
The story is written by Jeff Johns and James Wan and Will Beall. So James Wan was involved and Will Beall was also involved. So it's based off Aquaman, obviously, the comic Aquaman.
Shit.
By Mort Weisinger and Paul Norris. When do you think Aquaman first debuted in comics?
Ages ago. It would have been 60s or 70s.
It's actually much before that. So his first appearance was in More Fun Comics, issue number 73, and that was released November 1941.
Oh, shit. Well, it was ages ago.
Yeah.
So I was right.
I actually didn't know he was that old a character either, so his dates way back. So we see some of his special abilities in this movie, much more than we saw in Justice League, which, by the way, this is a follow-on of. So Justice League has happened, and they do address it in this movie very, very briefly, but this is a sequel to Justice League.
Yep.
So what are his special abilities?
He could breathe underwater. He could swim super fast. He could talk to fish. And he's got lots of strength. He's super strong.
It's pretty much all of it. That's what we saw in this movie. But his comic book special abilities are pretty much similar, but he's got
It's the same thing.
Aquatic physiology, superhuman strength, speed, endurance, agility, durability, reflexes, and senses. He's got telepathic control of all aquatic life, which what you say as he can talk to fish.
He can talk to fish.
What Bruce Wayne or Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne says. He's got super fast swimming. He's able to speak and understand any language on Earth. That's something we didn't see in this movie.
I don't think he can do that in this movie. I highly doubt that.
He utilizes the Trident of Poseidon, and he's got hydrokinesis, which is... I don't think he has that in this movie.
He doesn't have that in this movie.
But Mira does. So
I think
she
Mira,
can control water with her mind. They've obviously used some of his origin abilities, and some they haven't. In terms of the development of the movie, the origins of this film can be traced all the way back to 2004. So they were planning an Aquaman film for quite a while, Warner Brothers. But in July 2009, it was reported that Aquaman was in development at Leonardo DiCaprio's production house. So he was planning to make one, but that never happened, obviously. And then after Man of Steel in 2013, that's when they actually got serious about making this movie, because they wanted to do a shared universe, which this still is, technically.
Yep. Did say Worlds of DC at the start, though.
It didn't. It just said DC, and I was really disappointed about that too. I made my disappointment very obvious in the cinema when I tapped you, and I'm like, "Where's the Worlds of DC?"
Yeah.
But basically, after Man of Steel, they decided to do a series of films. So some of them we got, some of them we didn't. They wanted to do a Batman Superman film, which they did, and we know about that one. They wanted to do a Wonder Woman film, which they also did. The one after those two on the list was the Aquaman movie. And it was announced in 2014, August 2014, that Warner Bros. Had hired the screenwriters that I mentioned earlier to write 2 separate scripts for Aquaman. So they were going to each write their own one. And then Warner Bros. Was going to pick the one that's the best out of the 2.
They would film both of them, and then they would choose the best scenes from both of them, and then put them together. Yeah. That's what they did for Suicide Squad, and that worked. So
except they had 20 different writers for that one.
Yeah. The more writers you have, the better the movie is, usually.
They got a trailer company to edit it together. You know, that's what they actually did with Suicide Squad? It's edited by a trailer company.
Oh, really?
A company that edits trailers edited the movie.
David Ayer did do it.
Well, he would have been there when they did it, but yeah, it was a trailer, like a company that specializes in editing trailers. So that's why the whole movie feels like an extended, really bad trailer.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It just feels like a Sony trailer.
I've watched Suicide Squad since I've seen it for the first time, and it's not bad. It's okay.
I don't agree, but okay. I still think it's pretty bad, but I've only seen it once as well, so
it's not as bad as I thought initially.
Anyway, we'll do a ranking of DCEU films to date after our review. Basically in 2015, after Fast and Furious, I think, James Wan was confirmed to direct and overlook the screenplay of Aquaman. I think he only got on board in 2016 after Conjuring 2 was released. Budget box office. So budget, this is a $200 million movie, so it's not cheap. There's a lot of visuals and a lot of it's underwater, as you can expect, since it's Aquaman. And it looks good. I thought it looks pretty good. I had my hesitations when I saw the trailer. I thought it looked a bit too cartoony.
It looks cartoony, but it looks good.
Yeah, it still looks good. It reminded me of Avatar. I don't know if it reminded you of Avatar, but...
Not really. I don't like Avatar, so if it reminded me of Avatar, it's not a good thing.
Not in terms of the story, but in terms of the visuals. Avatar's like a cartoony movie, but the whole thing is CGI, so...
I've only seen Avatar once, so I don't really remember it.
I've only seen it once too, and I think it was the same time that you watched it. We both watched it in the cinema. I've never felt the urge to watch it again.
No, me neither. Lots of people really like Avatar, but yeah, anyway. I can see where you're coming from, but I didn't get reminded of Avatar when I watched it, but it's got good visuals.
It does, yes. In terms of box office, it's done to date $846 million worldwide, and it had a $73 million opening weekend in the US. Pretty sure that's better than Justice League. The opening weekend, and the worldwide is definitely better than Justice League.
I'm maybe making this up, but I think it's their best opening.
No, I think Wonder Woman did better. And Batman Superman did better. Batman Superman did 100 million plus, I think.
Oh yeah, shit, it did. Yeah, Batman Superman did really well until everyone realized what it was. Yeah, I think it's after those two, it's the best one.
Yes, yeah. But if the other movies before this actually were good, not that all of them were bad,
could have been
but
a lot higher.
Yeah, if Justice League was good, it could have been a lot better. I feel like if this came out before Justice League, people might have watched Justice League a bit more. I guess we can jump into the review, but before we do that, we need to know what the story is. And as usual, I'll ask you to explain the story, and you'll be bewildered as to who I'm asking when there's no one else here. So it must be you. So what's the story?
I always think there's someone you bring like a guest to tell us what the story is. I always think there's someone just waiting in the corner. What's the story? Story is...
This is still spoiler free for anyone that's...
Okay, this is spoiler free.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
So Jango Fett is sitting on a beach, and then this woman rocks up on the beach, and it's Keith Urban's wife. And then basically Keith Urban's wife eats Jango Fett's goldfish, and then they fall in love. Wait, is this too in-depth? I think I'm going too in-depth. Anyway.
Yeah, just keep it high level.
Yeah.
But that's literally the first 2 minutes of the movie.
The 2 minutes, yeah. Anyway, Jason Momoa is Jango Fett and Keith Urban's wife's son.
There's a lot happening there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Keith Urban's wife goes back to Atlantis, which is where she's from, and Jango Fett takes care of Jason Momoa. And the rest of the story is how Jason Momoa goes back to Atlantis, basically, because his half-brother's trying to kill shit. That was great. Did I sell that? It's pretty good, wasn't it? And his half-brother is the guy who gets rid of demons in Conjuring.
And Johnny Depp's ex is in it too.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's ex is in it. Yeah, she's in it.
And her dad's the guy from Rocky IV.
Her dad is, he's Ivan Drago. That's the movie, yeah.
Hope you really feel compelled to watch it now. After that.
To be honest, the story is full of spoilers, so if we go too much into it, we could spoil it.
Yeah, that's right. And the story is very reminiscent of other comic book movies as well, which we'll talk about. In spoilers.
Although if you've seen the trailer, you probably know where it's going to go.
Yeah, it's only going to go one way. All right, I guess we'll jump into positives and negatives. Positives, I think the casting's pretty good. I think everyone in the cast did a pretty good job.
It also has Green Goblin.
Yes, yeah, it's got Green Goblin.
Yeah, they've shelled out for a lot of high-quality actors, but not all of them are necessary, I guess. Like, what does Dolph Lundgren do in this movie? He does nothing.
Well, this is a movie of not... What was that other movie with ridiculous wigs? Venom. It's another movie in league with Venom when it comes to wigs, because
I kind of like their hair. Everyone's hair looks good. I liked it.
I'm not sure about Amber Heard's hair.
No, I liked Amber Heard's hair. It grew on me.
I'm not sure about Dolph Lundgren's hair either.
No, I think it looked okay. I'm on board with all the wigs, to be honest. I thought they were.
What about
they were
Patrick
decent.
Wilson's hair?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. If Patrick Wilson grew a man bun, that's how he would look.
The casting's good. The visuals, as I mentioned before, are really good. I don't know if this is a positive, but when you just going by DC's track record, the story is pretty simple, which is kind of a good thing. There's not too much happening. Well, there's still stuff.
There's a bit happening.
There's still stuff happening, but
this is it's like National Treasure, Indiana Jones, a superhero movie, and Black Panther put together.
Yeah, and there's some other stuff in there too. There's a bit of Thor in there as well. Yeah, okay, there is a lot happening, but it seems pretty coherent compared to the other movies. So I was on board. It was a bit long, I thought. I guess I'm going into some of the negatives. It was a bit long, but yeah, overall I wasn't bored as such.
Which is a win for a DC movie. I wasn't bored.
It didn't give me a headache either. It didn't make me think like, what are they doing? Like in Batman vs Superman when Batman and Superman fight. Spoilers for Batman vs Superman. Obviously they're going to fight in Batman vs Superman.
Pretty good fight.
The fight is good, but the lead up is ridiculous, and the reason they stop fighting is even more ridiculous. So
yeah. Everything either side of the fight is stupid.
So the reason characters do things out of character and they don't act like themselves. Like Superman, to date, has never really been like Superman in this franchise.
In Justice League, he kind of is.
Up till like the climax of Justice League.
He's pretty good in Justice League.
But in this, I guess the characters feel like they're meant to be. They act like they're meant to act, if that makes sense. So that was. It shouldn't really be a positive. That's what all movies should do. But since it's a DC movie, I guess I would have to mention that. Did you have any particular positives?
I liked Djimon Hounsou's cameo, which we'll go through in spoilers. Did you look it up?
I didn't, but I think I know who it is, because when I remember the movie, there's one character that sounded like him.
He's not in it for long.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
What else is good in this movie? It's good. Jason Momoa is pretty good.
Yeah, he's very likable.
It's got the two villains like in Black Panther. It's very reminiscent of Black Panther.
It is, yeah. It's very similar to Black Panther.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing that it's similar to Black Panther. It's pretty good. And the villains, both of them are quite good.
Yeah, I thought one of them was necessary. The other one was probably not required.
But the other one was the better one.
I don't know which one we're talking about.
I thought Patrick Wilson's probably necessary.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson's necessary.
But Black Manta was the better villain.
Was he?
He's got better action scenes with him.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The action with Black Manta is better. You see some of it in the trailers. Apparently there was a Jaws reference. I don't know.
Gonna need a bigger
helmet. I didn't get it in the movie, but apparently it was a Jaws reference. The villains were fine, I guess. I thought Patrick Wilson was good as a villain.
Yeah, I just thought Black Manta was a better villain.
Maybe.
More compelling.
We'll talk about where things may lead in a potential sequel in spoilers. I thought the comedy wasn't great. I think they tried to make it funny, but it wasn't really that funny.
Yeah. I thought it was decently funny, but it's a bit hit or miss.
Yeah.
And it's really cheesy.
Yeah, but at least they got the tone right. They wanted it to be more lighthearted than the previous movies.
Oh, and Aquaman's costume looks sick. I don't know how they made that work, but it looks good.
When he's actually in costume. Yeah, it does look good. They actually did change the origin of... Not the origin, but how he looks, because in the comics, Aquaman is blonde. So in the comics, he basically looks like Patrick Wilson looks like in this movie. And Ocean Master, which is Patrick Wilson's character, looks like Jason Momoa, or looks more like Jason Momoa.
Only their hair. Other than that, they look completely different.
So they switched that up because they cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and then they wrote the script for this, because he was in Batman vs Superman in that awkward cameo where the camera just focuses on his face for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and he's swimming.
I guess we could give our ratings.
Oh shit! I didn't come up with a rating for this.
A for...
No, it's not an A. It's a...
C for course correction.
It's pretty good actually, but it's not a complete course correction. I think it is a bit of a course correction. No, we'll give it a C for course correction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll give it a watch at some stage. I don't think you have to go necessarily out of your way to watch it at the cinema. There's a lot of movies out at the moment. We reviewed Bumblebee, Wreck-It Ralph last episode. They're both very good.
And second act.
Of course, second act. You can't forget that. There's Mary Poppins, which I just, I gave a ringing endorsement to. So there's a lot out there. So if you're a big fan of superhero movies, then I guess you'll watch it regardless. But if you're not, you don't have to really go out of your way. But it's not a bad time. So you can watch it on Netflix, or if it's just on TV, it's not a bad time. Spoilers. So we're doing spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the movie, please come back to this point in the episode and then listen to our spoilers. So
Digimon Hurso.
Yeah, so he's that fish tribe leader guy.
He's the fish guy that Patrick Wilson stabs like straight away and kills. And also, I leaned in to tell you this in the movie. He's making this army to go into the normal world, into the above sea world, to like fight them or destroy them or whatever. But this guy has mermaid legs. He can't go above ground. Like, what use is he going to have?
And his daughter's not going to go above ground either.
Yeah, because she also has, the whole species has mermaid legs. So I don't think they're going to add much value.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking.
And every other species in Atlantis is absolutely like crazy. It's insane to think that this is in the same universe as Batman versus Superman.
But at least, that's another positive that I didn't mention. But Atlantis was pretty cool. The way they explored it was quite good. It's again reminiscent of Black Panther or even Thor in that it's a bit like Wakanda or Asgard, but underwater. So that was pretty cool. A lot of the story is quite predictable. The first time Patrick Wilson goes to meet Dolph Lundgren, and you're like, oh, he's probably going to plan an attack, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep. It's very predictable, but it's good predictable. It's what you want.
I guess Black Manta, that guy's just a pirate, and he just happened to run into this guy.
I guess so. Yeah. It's never explained, but I guess they just kind of met each other.
Oh, another negative. All the negatives are coming to me now. One negative is that there's a lot of sudden explosions in this movie. Like they're chatting, and then there's a sudden explosion, and then an action sequence begins.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize it until I watched some other reviews, and they all mentioned it.
Yeah,
and then now that I think about it, yeah, like there's lots of scenes that are just ended with an explosion and then it goes into an action scene.
Well, I noticed it in the movie because it happens at least 4 or 5 times. And by the third time, I was like, that's happened quite a lot. What does that remind you of, the sudden explosion? What other movies do you see that in?
Like a jump scare?
Yeah, it's like a jump scare. James Wan, he doesn't do a lot of jump scares, but he makes horror movies, so that's kind of his thing, I guess. When they first announced James Wan to direct this movie, I guess he had made Fast and Furious 7, so he has done other movies other than horror movies. But it was an interesting choice, and there's parts of this movie where you see his style as well, apart from the sudden explosions and stuff. There's that scene where it's also in the trailer where they're going to, I forgot what realm. It's some place that they need to go to get the trident, right?
The center of the earth.
Yeah, and there's these like monsters that come and get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they use
flares.
Yeah, they use flares and they jump into the water and you see them all chasing them into the darkness. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it wasn't scary, but it was cool.
Yeah, it was just visually very, very good.
That's in the trailer as well.
Yeah, it is in the trailer. It's briefly in the trailer. There's some massive plot holes that we can talk about. So one of them is they go to the Sahara Desert so the middle of this movie turns into Indiana Jones suddenly.
I like that part of the movie. I enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of those Indiana Jones National Treasure movies, even though even if they're really shit, I still have a good time with them.
And they show a bit of it in the trailer as well when he jumps out of the plane. So they're in the middle of a desert and they find this hidden cave which gives them directions to go somewhere else.
It gives them like a riddle that they have to solve.
That's right, yeah. So they get there and then the very next scene, they're in Sicily.
Sicily, yeah. Sicily's close to the Sahara, isn't it?
I don't think it is. It's not that close. Unless they swim through the sand or something. I don't know how they got there.
Maybe there's like a teleportation device in that thing.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it takes them straight to Sicily, where they can read Pinocchio books.
They called Batman and he picked them up.
Are they on speaking terms? I guess they are. They were all pretty happy by the end of Justice
yeah, they're all mates at the end, remember?
Yeah, they're all happy, yeah. Or you could just call Superman.
Yeah, you could, but...
Like, any problem can be solved by just calling Superman.
Yeah, this whole thing could have been solved by calling Superman.
Can Superman breathe underwater?
Breathe underwater? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he can, right? Or maybe he can't.
I don't think he can breathe... No, I don't think he can breathe underwater.
Okay, but he can swim fast. He doesn't need to swim, though. He can just fly. Why does he need to swim?
I guess he flies underwater.
That'd be interesting if they did a swimming race between Flash, Superman, and Aquaman. Probably Aquaman should win.
I think Aquaman, when he swims in this movie, he's super fast.
It also reminded me of Ant-Man and the Wasp with Nicole Kidman. How she's trapped in that center of the earth or something for 50 years. And she's... Well, it's not 50 years, it's like 20 years. And she's the same as she was before.
Yeah, because she's Nicole Kidman.
I guess
she doesn't age. Although they de-aged her. They de-aged her at the start.
Did they? Well,
yeah.
Not much. Like, I think she was... It wasn't as much as the other guy. It wasn't much as
They de-aged Django Fett as well. Yeah.
That was like major de-aging. And it looked pretty bad as well.
Oh, it was okay. It's not the worst.
What's worse than this?
I think this is not de-aging, but when they got Peter Cushing in Rogue One, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was much worse than this.
Yeah, that was worse than this.
That's not de-aging, though. They had to...
That was...
Just...
Yeah, that was...
make the person.
Yeah. That was like reincarnating the person. There was that, and then...
I don't think there's a lot of plot holes. I think there's just a lot of stupid shit.
When we were watching it at the start, when Aquaman's introduced, it's weird, but it's very reminiscent of sort of Indian movies that me and you watch.
Yeah.
A lot of our listeners might not watch them. In India, there's North Indian movies and there's South Indian movies. So North Indian movies is what you probably know as Bollywood movies. And they're like all mostly rom-coms and family dramas. And then you come to South India and that's more of these very, very over-the-top action movies where the hero is basically a superhero. Every one of those movies has this very elaborate and over-the-top hero introduction fight scene. And this was very reminiscent of that because all of those scenes, especially in the last 10 years in South Indian movies, they all feature like slow-mo. So they just show the hero in slow-mo just walking or just looking at the camera. And there was so many shots of that in his introduction scene.
Yeah. And also he randomly just leaves some guy to die for no reason.
I know why they did that, because they wanted some sort of character arc. But someone was mentioning that if Black Manta never returned, if Black Manta just died as well, he'd never feel that remorse, because...
Yeah.
Yeah, like it'd never come back to bite him.
Yeah, but also, it's like, it's pretty harsh to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna leave... He didn't kill him, but yes, he did kill him because he left him there to die, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. So he did kill him. It was at that point when I was like, are they doing the Superman Batman thing again? Because both of those guys are not very nice guys in this universe.
Yeah.
But he turns out to be alright in the end.
Yeah. It was a bit of a dodgy start to the movie. It was pretty hilarious, but unintentionally.
Yeah, I was still entertained by the whole scene. And he has like these one-liners as well in between.
Yeah, he has cheesy one-liners all throughout.
What else? There's Amber Heard who plays Mira, and has some pretty cool.
She's in the movie. Her powers are cool, but other than that, there's nothing much to her really.
apart from having cool powers, and she's going to marry Patrick Wilson. Was that what was happening?
She's meant to marry him. That's one of the arcs. And then she runs away with Jason Momoa. And then Patrick Wilson wants to kill her.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he tells Dolph Lundgren, who's
her dad.
Yeah, Mira's father. He tells him that he's not going to kill her, but then he gets Black Manta
But then he
to
kills
kill her.
Right? He tries to kill her anyway.
Yeah, the Sicily scene was pretty good in terms of the action scene.
Yeah.
I thought that was better than the climax one.
Yeah, definitely. That's much better than the climax one.
Yeah, the climax one, there was just way
there was too much shit happening.
Way too
and there
much
was these
happening.
crab guys. It was really weird. There's some weird shit.
Yeah. Oh, the crab guy's pretty funny.
The crab guy who's like, you can kill me. No, it's like, you can have my army, but you're going to have to kill me first.
And he just
And
kills
he's a
him.
crab.
Yeah.
I couldn't take anything he said seriously because he's just a big crab.
And then there's the scene where Jason Momoa or Aquaman gets, what's his actual name? Arthur Curry, right?
Arthur Curry.
Yeah, Arthur Curry gets the trident from this place in the center of the earth, supposedly. And there's this massive monster there, sea monster. And that monster was played by Julie Andrews, or Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
There's the link. There's the link.
Yeah, so there was a reason we talked about Mary Poppins at the start of this.
There isn't. There really isn't.
But yeah, apparently she was the voice of that. I actually couldn't tell. I don't know her voice.
No,
that well.
I didn't. There's too much like effects on her voice to really.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening.
And also, I don't know Julie Andrews' voice that well.
Yeah, we probably should, I guess, but yeah.
Why? Why should we know Julie Andrews?
Because we've seen Princess Diaries.
You make good points.
I was going to say Sound of Music, but I have seen it, but I don't remember it that
I haven't
well.
seen Sound of Music in ages. And it's not like she's singing The Hills Are Alive.
Yeah, her voice is completely different. But yeah, she's in it. And then I'm guessing, is she the monster that he comes out on at the end in the climax?
Yeah, it's the same monster.
Doesn't he kill half of his own people when he does that?
Yeah. There's a lot of people that die in the end scene for no apparent reason. They could have called off the battle and just said, yeah, me and Patrick Wilson will fight this out. But everyone still keeps fighting. And literally, Jason Momoa comes through and kills people from both sides. He's not only attacking the crab people and also the other people. Just indiscriminately killing.
But the whole story basically is trying to get this trident, which is meant to be the most powerful one, and it will help him
Poseidon's trident.
Yeah, it will help him defeat his stepbrother. It's very reminiscent of Black Panther because they have a fight about in the middle of the movie, and one of them's going to lose. So in Black Panther loses, and in this he loses. He doesn't really lose. He kind of just...
He's about to lose.
He just runs away.
Yeah, he runs away like a coward.
And then he comes back and he's obviously going to defeat him. What's the point of the movie if he doesn't? Yeah, and then he becomes king and everyone's supposedly happy.
Jango Fett's happy.
And his mum's happy. What's his mum's name? Atlanta, I think.
His mum, Keith Urban's wife.
Yeah, Keith Urban's wife.
That's her official name.
Yeah, there's some complicated things going on here. So is Keith Urban Patrick Wilson's dad?
No. Well, you don't see Patrick Wilson's dad in the movie.
Yeah,
but
so Keith Urban... So Nicole Kidman is Keith Urban's wife.
Yeah.
And Aquaman is Nicole Kidman and Jango Fett's son.
Jango Fett's son, yeah.
So Patrick Wilson must be Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's other son.
Look, it's quite possible, but yeah, you're going into fan theory location.
We should see that in the sequel. Keith Urban's, and his hair would look pretty good in underwater as well. Keith Urban's.
Yeah, his hair wouldn't look bad,
Yeah.
and then they could do a duet between him and Julie Andrews.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's randomly an octopus that plays drums in this.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I don't know why he's playing drums, but
and it's right at the bottom near the fire or something.
Yeah, he's just providing some atmosphere.
Yeah. We've kind of jumped around with this movie, but yeah, we did watch it a while ago, so we can't really remember sequentially what happens, but we just
I can't remember the intricacies, but it was a good time. Yeah.
It was a good time. We had a good time. It was a good Christmas Day movie. It has nothing to do with Christmas, but yeah.
You don't have to watch it on Christmas. It's not a Christmas movie, but yeah, it's a good time.
It's still not amazing.
It's still not great. No,
It's not amazing. I still think it's, in terms of, we'll do our rankings of movies for this year in the next episode, but it wouldn't rank.
I don't think it shows up in either of the rankings.
No,
It's
it wouldn't be in the
middle
worst,
ground.
and it's not in the best either. I guess we could quickly do our rankings in terms of where this falls in DCEU. You can start.
All right, let's see. I think probably Man of Steel I would put first. Yeah, I think I would put Man of Steel. Man of Steel and Wonder Woman are like at the top, but either one can go first, really. It doesn't really matter. Following on from that, what else do we have? I'll probably put this then. After those two, I'd put this. And then I'd put Suicide Squad, Justice League, then Batman v Superman.
I would go
I'm gonna commit. I'll put Man of Steel first. Man of Steel, then Wonder Woman.
Man of Steel, then Wonder Woman. I'd put Wonder Woman first.
Yeah.
And then I would probably put this second.
This second. Ooh,
Yeah, I'd
big
probably
call.
put this second and then Man of Steel. Pretty close between those two. I do
Yep.
like Man of Steel, but just the hour of action towards the end is just a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
There's only so many times you could watch it.
I just like people punching each other, just non-stop.
That
punching
it
each
was
other.
cool at the time, but it's just not something you can. It's a bit like Transformers movies. Like they have a lot of action, but it's not something you want to keep watching.
Yeah.
So after those three, this is when we get into the real bad ones.
I think Suicide Squad's not far away from the other ones.
I don't. I would probably put Justice League next.
Oh, you put Justice League next.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't have a good time with Justice League, but it wasn't the worst.
I also had a good time with Justice League. I've seen it more times than I probably would care to admit.
And then I'd probably put... Oh, this is quite... Well, I'd probably put Suicide Squad and then Batman vs Superman.
Yeah. Well, the only one that I flat out will refuse to watch ever again is Batman v Superman. If the other ones are on TV, I would probably watch them. If Batman v Superman's on TV, I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
I'm never watching it again. Like I would watch parts of it. I would watch maybe the fight, but other than that, or like that Batman fight at the end, I would probably watch that.
Yeah.
But I'd never watch the whole thing in a row.
Now, that movie was like... It was almost like insulting for me because I was anticipating that. That was probably one of the most anticipated movies of my life. Like, that's how much I wanted to watch that movie, but it was really bad. It was...
And the other thing, just in terms of rewatch value, goes for like 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
It goes for a really long
And
time.
a lot of the 3 hours is just
not much.
very, very dull dialogue and really boring. And just these two guys that are meant to be heroes that are just angry all the time.
Yeah. So like, there's parts of it that I still do like, but I would never watch the whole thing again.
We've just invited all the haters to our podcast because I know there's a lot of people out there that loves Batman and Superman. But yeah, I mean, this is our opinion.
I do like parts of it, but yeah.
No, I think it has to be bottom for me because it just disappointed me. It's the most disappointing movie I've ever seen. I don't think there's anything's ever come close to it in terms of disappointment.
I would have to think about that. There's probably something that's disappointed me more in the past. I'll think about it.
Okay, you think about it. Suicide Squad. After Batman and Superman, I wasn't expecting that much from Suicide Squad. So Suicide Squad was still bad, but I wasn't like personally hurt by it. I kind of actually had fun laughing at it in parts. So
I like Suicide Squad. It's not bad.
But yeah, those movies aren't good, and Justice League is by no means any good either. But by that stage, my expectations were just gone. So I was just like,
if
just
you go
make
with
a
low
movie.
expectations, Justice League isn't bad.
just make a movie and Just don't stuff it up. But they still did. But it wasn't the worst.
It's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But I still think Wonder Woman's probably the best one. Not that I'm a huge fan of Wonder Woman either. I think there's a lot of issues with that movie too, but it's probably the best of the bunch.
I haven't rewatched Wonder Woman since I watched it in the theater. So, like, the one I've seen the most is actually Justice League, but I don't like it the most. The one I've seen the second most is Man of Steel. So that's why I think that's better than.
I think I've only seen Wonder Woman once as well, and that was at the cinema. I've only seen Batman and Superman once. I've only seen Suicide Squad once.
I've seen these movies way more than I should have. I've seen Batman v Superman twice because I watched the extended cut as well.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't any better.
I've seen Man of Steel quite a few times, though. I think I've seen that.
I've seen Man of Steel a lot of times, yeah. And I've seen Suicide Squad at least like 3 or 4 times.
I haven't, and I will never watch it that many times.
It's not bad. It's go in with low expectations and you have a good time.
But yeah, I guess that's what we have to say about Aquaman. Anything else? I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm looking forward to Shazam.
Yeah, same. I think Shazam might be the best out of all of them, hopefully.
Yeah, it looks like a completely tonally different, because you still see. So Man of Steel was very Zack Snyder. Batman and Superman was ultra Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
And then all of the movies that came after that had a bit of that tone and that theme about them. And Aquaman pretty much departed away from that. And I think Shazam is a complete departure from that. So it's,
It looks good. I'm looking forward to it.
DC they've done a lot of things wrong. I hope they learn from their mistakes a bit. I think they jumped into a shared franchise too quickly, because Marvel did it over 10 years, so that's why they're reaping the rewards now. But DC's tried to do it in 3 movies, and that's not how it works. So hopefully they're learning from their mistakes now, and maybe they should just stick to solo movies.
Yeah, which is what they might do, but we'll see. I want a DC shared universe, but I just want it to be better.
Yeah. Well, there was talk that Henry Cavill was out as Superman.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. They're just not saying anything about any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to see how well things do, and then they'll decide what happens from there.
I actually don't mind him. As I think the character, the way they chose to take the character was wrong and terrible, but I think he was actually good.
Yeah, he's not bad.
And Wonder Woman is good. Gal Gadot is good. Apparently it's Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
No, apparently it's Gal. There's a way she says it, but there's a T at the end.
Oh, Gal Gadot. Okay, I thought it was Gal Gadot, but anyway.
She's also in Wreck-It Ralph. I think I mentioned.
Yeah. We talked about that.
But yeah, I think that's all we had in terms of Aquaman.
Yeah, that's it.
What else? Next week we're doing a combined episode with a lot of stuff actually. So we'll do
best, worst, and
best, worst. I guess we're thinking about if we can do a top 10, but I don't think
probably can't.
I probably can't, because then I'll be putting movies, especially for the best. I'll be putting movies that I
should not be in there.
Just shouldn't be in there. So we might just do a top 5, or we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe like give it a top 3.
A top 3, or just our favorite movies of the year. Just a favorite and least favorite movies of the year, and then we'll also do the most anticipated movies for this year, 2019.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll try to. We talk a lot about comic book movies here, but we will try to. I look through the list of stuff, and there's some movies that are not comic book movies that I'm also looking forward to, so I'll mention those.
So we'll see. We'll talk more about. I don't want to ruin anything. We'll talk more about it on the.
No spoilers for the next episode.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah,
on the anticipated one. That's the show. Do you want me to do the handles?
Oh yeah, we got to do that. Whoops.
Yeah. So you can catch us at Cognitive Recalibration Podcast at gmail.com. On Twitter at CRecalibration, and Facebook and Instagram at Cognitive Recalibration.
And we are available on all podcasting platforms. Actually, it was brought to my attention that we're not on the app Podbean, which I think a lot of Android users use. And we are not available on that. So I made sure that we are. So we are now. I submitted the podcast to Podbean, and we're on it now. So if you use the app Podbean, you can listen to us.
Yes,
on that now.
that is the show now.
All right, now we can sign off. So hope you enjoyed the episode. If you do enjoy our content, please do give us a subscribe so you don't ever miss out on an episode, and give us a review if you do have the time. Hopefully a good review. We'd prefer that. It'll just help us in terms of getting more exposure, especially on iTunes, because a lot of people look at reviews before they listen to podcasts. So thanks to everyone for listening, and we forgot to wish you all Happy New Year as well. Welcome to 2019.
Happy New Year.
And we'll see you in the next episode of Cognitive Recalibration. See you later.
See ya.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Welcome to the Every Girl Podcast. I'm your host, Josie Santee, wellness editor, reality TV enthusiast, and firm believer in the 3-drink rule. Join me every Tuesday as I chat with top experts and your favorite influencers and celebrities. You can also expect hilarious conversations with the Every Girl editors, where we open up about life events, trending topics, and of course, the latest pop culture drama. So whether I'm talking with a real housewife, 8-figure founder, or a manifestation coach, you will end each episode feeling inspired, understood, and a part of this empowering community. Listen to the show wherever you get your podcasts and tune in every Tuesday for a new episode.